All right, so you have a tight travel budget and a big trip coming up. So the big question is, what are you spending all your money on, and what are you forced to skip?
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting. You'll spend it and be broke again.
As always, I'm your bro Taylor.
And I'm your bro Ryan.
And like we said at the beginning, this is going to be a travel draft. So we're going to have 5 different categories with some different options within each category. And we're going to go back and forth drafting amongst each category. So we can't have the same thing. We don't know what each other have picked, so it'll be, a bit of a surprise for both of us here. But we're hoping that you guys can follow along with this. It's going to be a snake draft. And if you're not familiar with drafts at all, that just simply means, let's say Ryan's first, I'm second. On the next one, I'll go first, Ryan will go second. So it's kind of the snake. So we're going to go through each category. We're going to give kind of a reasoning behind our draft pick. And at the end, we'd love to hear which team you guys think wins or what team you'd like to draft.
And 2 quick notes before we jump into it. Obviously, we have these in our hand. I have the iPad. Taylor has the notepad. And this is just so we can take a little bit of notes, maybe remember the notes we took prior to this, kind of like a scouting report. But also, we'll have on screen a board for you to follow and see who has what team at what time. And you can see our options and all of that, just so we don't have to list all of them at each category.
Yeah, because, if we could choose anything from any category, then this could be super broad. So we do have some choices to pick from.
So jumping right into it, our very first category, of course, the location. So looking at our location options, it's actually honestly a pretty difficult choice. We kind of go broad spectrum, a lot of different places, areas, continents. But for me, I personally think the coolest, most exciting would be to go to Prague. So that is the one I'm going with.
That's an excellent first pick. That was my 1-1 as well. I won't lie. But another city that I've always wanted to go to, another continent, same, is Sydney, Australia. So that's going to be my pick there.
Yeah.
I won't lie. Prague's a great pick, but Sydney, the whole continent of Australia is just something I really wanted to go to. They've got, the crazy wildlife. Hopefully none of it kills you. They got the Sydney Opera House and everything. Shout out Finding Nemo. And all these just great attractions that I'd be really interested in.
Yeah, Sydney's a great choice. Honestly, that was my second.
Yeah.
And the two of them, they have their perks, but I feel like Prague, one of the biggest things is, one, it's beautiful. So many people talk about it, but also one of its biggest takes for me was it's near so many other places I might want to extend the trip and go to, and that's pretty much the reason I chose it.
Yeah, with Sydney, you're kind of stuck with
Exactly.
Sydney. People say there's like 3 cities in Australia that anyone lives in, so you are kind of restricted in that sense. But both of our choices, we did choose international travel.
Yes,
none of us stayed in state. So we're going to be spending a little bit on the travel there. But
as you can see, there are a few cheaper options in our options list, and we did pick outside of those.
Yeah, the state capital, been there, done that. Disney, I've at least done that plenty of times. Done that. I got family in Orlando.
And it's about as expensive to leave the country to go to Disney these days, so forget that.
But a lot of these would be great ones, so we'd love to hear where you'd like to go. But just to kind of set the tone, we had to pick our location first. All right, jumping into our next category. Category 2 is we need to make this trip actually happen. So we're going to be looking at different travel hack options and cards. So again, you can see it on the draft board here, what our options are. This time I get to go first. I do think I'm going to go the travel rewards credit card.
Yeah.
If I'm able to use points to off rip, just decrease my budget, I feel like that's huge. And then gaining some more points while I'm on the trip.
Plus the protection.
Yeah, I feel like it's the clear first pick here.
That's an obvious one, I feel like, too. That's on top of that, or not too far down from that, honestly, my pick is Google Flights. I use Google Flights religiously.
Yeah.
Like, I'm addicted to Google Flights. I have alerts set for deals for trips I might want to take in the future.
Yeah.
Just because I've seen in the past that they've been a good deal. So let me know if that ever pops up again. I'll pull it. And any trip I'm coming on in the future, I know I'm going to that one. I'll set alerts for that because sometimes you can get reimbursed if they drop after you've bought your ticket. So I'll do that as well.
And to be fair, with the travel rewards credit card, if I'm trying to use that for my flight, I'm pretty much restricted to the travel partners. True. You can't use any airline like on Google Flights. So that is a good point. You may very well use all your points on this one trip. Let's say that you have an Amex card and the travel partner is Delta. You got to look at those Delta flights.
Right.
Delta being fairly expensive. But I do think that my team's looking pretty good right now. I'm happy with my choices so far.
So rolling right into our next category is our accommodations pick. Obviously, outside of location, that's one of the next big things you look at.
For sure.
So looking at our accommodations, I could honestly talk about all of these, And so my pick for this one is going to be Airbnb. Okay. And honestly, the biggest reason I chose Airbnb is, one, I do have good experiences with Airbnb. I've used them multiple times, obviously, and they're all over the world, so you get a lot of great options. People can rent out a room, they can rent out a house, a tree house. There's just so much to, like, again, option-wise.
Yeah.
But the reason I picked that one and not hotel stay is because Taylor stole the credit card option. So in this situation, I'm assuming I don't have a travel credit card because he does. So I'm not really having these points to use on this hotel anyways.
Yeah.
So it kind of eliminated it for me.
Yeah, and to be honest, I consider the fact that I had a credit card, and I was torn still between hostel and hotel. I don't mind staying at certain hostels. Great social environment, so I'm actually going to go hostel. Maybe a bit crazy given my previous draft pick, but I still like my team.
He went and got all these credit card points to just go to a hostel.
I'm using it on the flight. It's pretty much all flight, but I'm sticking with hostel. I think hostel is very cheap.
Yep.
I think it's a great social environment. You meet a lot of people. Even in certain countries that are less, social, like all of Europe is a little less social than America in the general sense of things. A lot of people in these hostels are fellow travelers also looking to socialize and go do things. My experience in hostels has been good. So I'm sticking with it.
But no, to that point, that also brings me back to the Airbnb. I bet there's a ton of options in Prague if I had to guess without looking too detailed into it. And with that, you can also get a range of prices. So you can go upper echelon, go really fancy, whatever it is, or you could go and save a little bit of money. So again, it gives me that budget option.
Yeah. And to be fair, I feel like in general, Airbnbs are cheaper abroad than they are in America for some reason. That's just been my experience. Could be wrong there. Moving right along, our third category is just food and drinks. Obviously, that's something you got to have to survive wherever you are.
Absolutely.
So, drafting here, we have several options that you can see on screen. I do think my number one pick here is going to be just local street food. I feel like local vendors and everything, you get a good price, you get to experience things. Maybe Sydney doesn't have any. Honestly, I'm not 100% confident on that. But just some local vendors and everything, I feel like you're getting a lot of variety and a lot of great options. So again, fantastic pick. My team's looking amazing.
So honestly, my option was going to be local street food. I feel like you get more authentic, you get more what's really happening, and you get great, amazing food you probably wouldn't even heard of. Because again, there's no reviews. You're just like a little bit of risk on it, and it could be great, could be bad. But I feel like that's really cool, that adventure side.
Yeah.
However, it was taken. And then one big meal out. I thought about that a lot, but to go one really big meal and then have to cut back on everything else, I was a little bit hesitant on, to be honest.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I scratched that and went free hotel breakfast. And I'll explain why I went free hotel breakfast. Okay. Because for my travel, I typically like to go on hikes. I typically like to go into nature. I like to go and do stuff like that. And so I need something quick. But typically you don't want to like run to a random gas station in the middle of nowhere and pick up snacks. So I can get a full breakfast, free breakfast, not have to worry about that expense. And then I could go out on my hikes, go out on my big excursions, and do crazy things. Like we've hiked a volcano before.
Yeah,
and that's really awesome. When you're out by a volcano, there's no businesses, nowhere to really get food. So get that big free breakfast, save that money, and nice and full for the day. And that's why I chose that one. And if you're following along on our board right now, you can see that Ryan is eating a hotel breakfast, but Ryan is also staying at an Airbnb.
Yeah.
How is he doing this? So I was actually listening to a podcast very recently, and they were saying how they've been loving staying in Airbnbs, and a couple times they've even asked the host if they would provide free breakfast, and the host has done it.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be my way to blend the two and hope my host is willing to give free breakfast. Because I thought that was a really cool idea. You get the benefit of the Airbnb and the privacy and all of that without losing the benefit of the hotel.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I'm pulling this off.
Okay. I'm going to allow it simply based on the fact that I do get local street food. I still think I've won that round. So for that reason alone, I'm in.
Fair. So for our fifth and final category, how are you getting around? How are you going to visit wherever you want to visit and checking the city out or wherever you're at? So for me, I felt like it made a lot of sense. It just worked. It was natural. I didn't really have to pick it. I'm going to do walk whenever possible. I'm in a pretty big city that's got a lot to offer. And if I'm driving, I'm focused on the road. While if I'm walking, I could see things I never would have. Maybe I will find that street food or that area because I'm just walking down these nice areas and getting to see cool things that aren't glowing on the map that everybody goes to.
I almost feel like you're drafting that to mess me up some more. Obviously, trains are a great option in Europe. Walkable was my go-to as well. I think if you're just in a walkable city, you get to experience it more. You're outdoors more. You're interacting, or maybe not interacting with people. Some people will just, why are you talking to me? American, obviously. But I did like walkable city. I guess I'm going to go... I'm going to go just a local transit pass.
That's fair.
I think that's a good next option. It gives you a lot of options to get around in whatever city you're in.
And remember, we're still on a budget, so.
Yeah, that's fair. So, less walkable. I guess my hostel isn't in the middle of the action. Okay, that's fine.
But transit pass to your credit, you're not driving. So you're just kind of looking around, checking in the scenery, whatever's going around while you're out and about, hopefully. If you get some good shots, like I know going through the Swiss Alps, that's a beautiful train. Hey, I know you're not there, but...
And I feel like if you go to certain places, you don't really get to experience the city to its fullest extent until you do the public transport. Like New York, a lot of people say you got to go on the subway before you've really been to New York. I don't think Sydney's the same way, but I'm happy with my team. I really like my team. I'm going to Sydney. I got my travel credit card to help cover that flight. A hostel, so hopefully I'm meeting some nice people. In my experience, I've met some Australians in hostels in Europe. They're nice people, and I'm curious if I meet a lot of Europeans in hostels in Australia.
Could work that way.
Who's visiting Australia? Comment down below if you've been, or if you're a friend. We're friends, and you'd like to let me stay. I'll change this whole draft board up for you. And then my local transit.
I'm pretty confident in mine, too. I'm getting to see a beautiful city in Europe. I'm going to Prague, which is huge. Awesome. I saved myself a ton of money by setting up those Google alerts ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Those Google flight alerts, man, there's something special. I'll tell you what. I get those notifications. I'm like, man, it dropped even further. I never would have guessed.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Stayed in my Airbnb, and since I saved so much on that flight, maybe I can splurge on the Airbnb. Like, I'm willing to. I'm willing to go crazy.
Yeah.
And then... You know me, I'm getting that free hotel breakfast in my Airbnb the way it's meant to be done. We'll see if my host is willing and able to give me a good experience.
Yeah.
And then I'm walking. I'm walking everywhere in the United States, even though everything's spread out. So I'm walking in Prague, baby.
Yeah.
I'm seeing what it's all about.
I'll give it to Ryan. I think Prague is a prime pick. If you get to be in Europe, it opens you up to a lot of different options. I do think Google Flights saves you money, but obviously not as much as the travel rewards card, guys.
That he's not using.
No, I'm using it for the flight. The flight is by far the most expensive part. If you've done international travel, you know what I mean. The Airbnb, also expensive. You're paying for a flight and an Airbnb. Sure, a little cheaper flight option, but Airbnbs can be expensive. So, walkable, I'll give you that one. A free hotel breakfast, yeah, that's free. I'll give you that. But you having to cover a flight and an Airbnb is big, in my opinion. As for me, my biggest expense is covered by my travel credit card, guys. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You do have a good pick, good lineup. Mm-hmm. I like Sydney. The hostel, I'm surprised by. You got all these travel points. You're earning stuff like crazy. And a lot of hotels, you got partners with these cards. So that one, I'm not only not going to give it to you, but I'm also very surprised. And then, yeah, I get your food and drink hack. That one's a good one.
Yep, solid.
So that, again, I don't know. In terms of Sydney, if you're gonna get all of that, so you might have wasted it.
Yeah,
you might have wasted it. If someone that's lived or has been to Sydney, please let us know. Is that a big thing there? Because he could automatically lose. Basically, scratch that category.
Street food capital of the world. I'm calling it now.
But other than that, yeah, I think all around good picks. I don't think you beat my team. My team was just, I had so much good well-rounders. My lowest, I still felt like it was strong. So let us know in the comments, of course, what y'all's thoughts are, but yeah. I think you had one or two major flaws in yours.
When people comment that Sydney has great street food, free transit, and their hostels are super cheap, then we know I've won for a fact.
That's the other thing, is the transit I'm very curious about.
Yeah, I have no idea how much that would cost.
Yeah, let us know what you guys thought about this kind of video. Obviously, you can tell throughout this video we had a lot of fun making this. It was a good way to cut up and try something new. So please let us know what you think. And hopefully you guys got value out of this. As always, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for next week.
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting. You'll spend it and be broke again.